Victims of the punt time. Friday morning, looking at Rosehill rail in the 3 metre position. Track is currently a soft 5, but we've got some deep fields, plenty of betting action to get into. It's a pleasure to welcome Mark Shean to the program. Mark, just looking at the card ahead, what was your initial thoughts?
Looks a tough day, Pete. We've got a 3 metre rail, the first time we've had that since Golden Slipper Day, which was very much an advantage to be up on speed and near the inside. It's not a drying day in Sydney, so we're still going to have a track that's got a fair bit of give in it. So I think currently rated a 5. I don't think it'll improve.
Mark Rhoden, welcome. We were just talking about the fact that these are some really deep fields, and do you change your approach heading in towards the winter time? Do you look at doing the form a little bit differently, or do you just play a little bit tighter?
Look, if you get a dry winter in Sydney, it's great betting, I think. The form's really consistent. You get a similar sort of pool of horses meeting up, so you can cross-reference the form pretty easily. You can get into strife on very wet tracks and biased tracks. But if, the tracks are reasonably fair, it's a good a time as any year to bet, I think.
Okay. Easy. We're going to preview the quaddie legs, but we'll start with race 4, just out of a race of interest. It's a benchmark 78 over 1,200 metres. You've got Blondo as favourite at even money, Iron Power 480. That's the best available at Friday morning. Everything else is into the double figure range. Mark Shean, I'll start with you. What are you making of this favourite?
Look, he was very impressive winning at Gosford, but got a very fast pace. But two of those culprits are in the race again, Ramstein and Quiet Ride, and then you've got another Sin coming in to the mix as well. So he'll probably get a solidly run race again. Having said that, I thought this Iron Power looked in foal at Gosford. He was having his first run for quite some time, and I think Tom Sherry missed the boat coming to the turn as well. He got snookered when he should have been on his bike. Look, I know there was a big distance between them, but I think Iron Power had a lot of improvement, and just at the value, I'm going to back him to beat Blondo, but I think that they've got a lap on the rest.
Okay, Mark Rhoden, did you have any thoughts about the favourite, whether it's a back or a lay at this early stage?
Neither. I don't want to back it. I don't want to pot it. I mean, it was a different horse. He wasn't first up as a gelding, was he? He was gelded before, I think.
No, he was gelded before. He's only a lightly framed type, and he didn't look great in the yard, but he's never been a flash type. But, right. He was hard to like in the parade as well, but he just ran out of his skin, didn't he?
He looked like Winx. It was amazing. But, I concur with Mark. Iron Power's the only one I could consider to, give him a race here. But, even money in 7-2, it's... Yeah, if you want to be aggressive like Mark on Iron Power, I can see your reasoning. I think it's about right, personally, at this stage. Blondo isn't the type of horse, with his racing style, you'll want to be taking a short price around out of the chute at Rosehill, I would say. And you could also argue that, that's a clear outlying peak for him first up, so he's got to make a decision whether that's the new him or whether he's going to a chance of coming off second up. So they're the reasons not to back him. But the reasons to back him, as I said, he did look like Winx at Gosford. So, it's no bet for me at this stage, but very interesting.
Yeah, we have talked about the first up peak a number of times, and it's amazing how many different angles you can take to them, especially when you get an even money favourite next start.
It's got to be a price issue. I talked at length about Eduardo after he beat Nature Strip over 1,000 metres first up and said, this is, you've got to be hard on him next time out, because it was such a big new peak for him and he was first up. But it's a price issue. He went round at $6 odd in the Galaxy. And if you just said, well, if he does what he does last start, he'll win, and you're getting 5 to 1. It's not like he was even money like this one. So it is always a price issue.
The thing with Blondo is that in his past 2 preparations, he has actually won second up, improved from his first up run. So
if he improves second up here...
Okay, let's jump into the quaddie. We'll start with race 6, a benchmark 72 over 2,000 metres. Marinoa's favourite with Jean Van Overmeer on board, $3.50. Green Flash, $5.50. Then you're out to double figures for Quiet Michael, My Delight, and a whole heap of others. Mark Shean, Marinoa favourite. JVO, not necessarily the greatest strike rate going around in Sydney, but he should be leading. What's your point of view on that runner?
Look, he did the job quite well at Wagga. Didn't go all that quick in front there. I think compared to other races on the day, his early sectioner was only moderate. Third horse has come out and was unplaced at the Kenzo on Wednesday, so doesn't really frank the form. Look, he's an improving type by Schnitzel, had a faint perfume, so he's bred to run the trip, but just looks a touch skinny to me. I'm with Green Flash here. They scratched him from a race on Wednesday where he drew barrier number 1, looked a suitable race. I backed him the other day and seemed to be very pooing the betting there late with the stablemate very heavily backed and seemed to lose his position there at the 600. So I'm thinking that maybe he'll be suited at 2,000 on Saturday.
Okay, surely the jockey change can take care of that. James McDonald off for Tommy Berry on.
No comment.
Mark Rhoden, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, they're the two, and I lean to Green Flash as well here. I think it just sets up better for him than it does for Maranoa. Maranoa is progressive. 2,000 won't be a problem. But looking at the map, I mean, he'll lead if he wants to, but there's about 4 or 5 others that like to go forward as well. A lot of these, it's a 3-year-old 2,000 metre race with a big field, so some of these from wide alleys probably have no option but to push on, and that'll half drive Maranoa mad, I think. And Green Flash is drawn perfectly in just Lob's midfield trail, I think. And I think they're the 2 clear standouts on form and figures in the race. And jockey and map, and price, I have to lean to Green Flash. I think he's got a better map, better jockey, and he's better odds. So that's pretty straightforward for me. There's 100 middle pin chances in this race. 2,000 metre races for 3-year-olds is sometimes, you can throw up an improver. The one at odds I would consider specking is number 16, Good Omens, who was very heavily backed by the punters, including me at Hawkesbury last time, but quite frankly didn't handle the wet track. I thought she would, because she's by So You Think, but she really did flounder. She was beaten before the turn. She started odds on there, close to it. She trialled really well before that and was an impressive winner before that trial. So I think she's got some ability, and at around 20 to 1 I could save on her, but I think it's a good race for Green Flash.
I just wanted to say I thought 17 Rebel Rama had a rough chance at odds here. Drawn a lot better than last start, got a long way back and has been hitting the line okay. And I agree with Mark, you could get a rough result in this race, but obviously hoping for Green Flash. But I thought Rebel Rama had some hope at odds.
Thanks for bringing that up, Mark. I was on it at Newcastle. It was a fun watch.
Just follow the money every time. We're talking about a 2,000 metre race for 3-year-olds. Let's go to a listed quality over 2,000 metres in race 7. Parry Sound favourite at $3.80, Grey Line $6.50, Polly Grey $7. Then you're out to, looks like Elvis Woogok. They're into double figures. Mark Shean, anything take your fancy over the other 2,000 metre race?
Look, on form, I like Parry Sound, but the price is a bit skinny for my liking. I think if you're backing favourites in these staying races through the winter, if you're backing them, you'll end up with one thong. I think his last run was good. He took off. He made 2 runs on him, and he was only narrowly beaten. They ran very similar time to Polly Grey in the Cup. And he's getting, 5 kilos off Polly Grey. I could make a case for maybe Grey Line and Costello. Both ran decent races the other day. Grey Line come out of a strong race. Costello didn't sweat as badly as he normally does and ran okay first up and's got a good second up record. Polly Grey probably short enough now with the weight. Parry Sound on top, but I'm not having a bet in the race.
Okay. Mark Rhoden, what's your starting point here in race 7?
Yeah, I started with Parry Sound as well, but I would want, I reckon, 460 at least to play. I do think it's top pick, but I think, it's just too short at the moment. Not outrageously so, but not any, it's not a bet at 370 for me. A lot of middle pin chances. If it was wetter, I'd probably give Polly Grey another go. Soft 5, I think is fine for her, but it was heavy 8 or 9 or something, that would take a few others out of play, which would give her a better chance. The one I wanted to, I really looks like Elvis has run in the Scone Cup last week. Wanted to find it, but barrier 14 and this jockey, it's not a bet for me. I really like the last day, and it never wins either, I should say. The horse it's strike rate. You need a few things to go right, and the map probably it doesn't get rid of it, but it makes it hard to back. Yeah, very, very hard to find a bet, I thought.
Okay. Race 8 is a benchmark 88 over 1,500 metres. In terms of the market, Ellsberg is favourite, $2.50 is best available. You've got Kerwin's Lane and Arcana. We'll go Arcana, around that $8, $9 mark. They're the only horses in single figures. Everything else is double figures. Mark Shean, starting with Ellsberg, back or lay at the price, $2.50.
Look, I'm going to forgive his run at Hawkesbury. Hawkesbury can throw up some very funny form. He sat outside the lead there, didn't get control. I'm not sure that was a total excuse, but I'm pretty sure he's better than that. He's got very good form at Rosehill. He's got a couple of big wins there, especially at a 1,500-metre race where he led and just dominated, as he did at Randwick in the South Pacific Classic. And look, I think he'll roll forward here and be very hard to beat. I think Opacity is certainly an improver. The cut out of the track will certainly assist him. He is a back marker, though. But he just had no luck at Hawkesbury the other day. Bottled up most of the way up the straight, and Kerwin's Lane goes from apprentice back to a senior rider, and it's got a soft draw. So they're the three I landed on. But I think Ellsberg's certainly the one I want to back.
Okay, Mark Rhoden, you were bullish enough with Ellsberg last start. Are you similar here?
I ended up not backing him.
Yeah.
He just got in too short for me at Hawkesbury, thank God. Clear top pick, has to be. Price, I'd want closer to $3, to be honest. Just, look, if he gets control, they probably won't beat him, I think. There's a few drawn wide who might press on. They did run along at Hawkesbury. I actually backed Acrophobic, who led the Hawkesbury Guineas, because I was sort of excusing on places there because I thought they were ridden a little impatiently, and Ellsberg was in that boat as well. But there might be just a slight chink there if he doesn't get complete control. Look, I'm not desperate to bet against him. All the others in, around the $7.50 to $10 mark, I think are around their right price or too short. I think Ellsberg is clearly the one to beat, but I can't get too excited about 6 to 4. The one I'll spec, look, he probably had a dream run last time. He's got an ordinary jockey change, but his 20 to 1 is in pass. I mean, it was a good win. It was a good win in similar company last start. He's got a iffy jockey change, but he gets a claim. And he's at 20 to 1. I think I have to back him. But that is quite speculative because, as I said, Ellsberg is the one to beat.
So did you have the fence off at Hawkesbury, Mark? I thought he came up the fence, which looked a little bit inferior to me.
You said that. I think it was. They did all sort of get out of his way, and pace-wise was half put on for him. He got a clear run through when plenty of others didn't, but time-wise and everything else, I thought it was okay. It was fine. The jockey change isn't a plus, but it's 20 to 1. Don't have that much on it.
Okay, let's have a look at race 9. Benchmark 78 over 1,800 metres. Market is wide open. In single figures, you've got Steely, Approach Discreet, Trevest, Mubariz, Turidin, Prince of Aragon, and Legrisa. Mark Shean, take your pick.
Yeah, I think this will end up about $7 or $8 a field by jump time. I'm with Trevest now that he's got a start. He hasn't drawn all that well. In fact, I've gone for two here that originally drew 18 and 20. So Trevest was a horse who was an absolute nerve nut at the races. Hasn't really furnished, but he used to sweat up very badly. But it's the best I've ever seen him at Warwick Farm the other day. And he took off 4 wide on a limb a long way from home and sustained the run. So he may have turned the corner, judging by the way he paraded before the race. He gets out to 1,800 for the first time. Obviously, he's going to need a lot of luck from that barrier and going back in the field. But as I said, I think he may have turned the corner. I thought Legrisa always races well fresh. He should have won at Warwick Farm first up last time in, and the 2 trials this time in have been really good. So I thought she had a chance as well. But, you could probably back 6 in the race and even miss the winner. But 16 from 13 from me.
Okay, sounds good. Mark Rhoden, your thoughts?
Yeah, I wanted to find Trevest, but the map put me off. I quite like the format of that race. The great Easy Campuzzi and Alan Hennessy came through that race and did the job for us at Kensington on Wednesday. So I do like that race, but yeah, the barrier put me off. I think he gets a long way back. I thought Toured and Mapwell up from Victoria. A lot of his form's on wet tracks, but I think almost all of his runs have been on wet tracks, so I'm not labelling him a wet tracker necessarily, and I think he does map well, K with a climb. Steely, we were on at Hawkesbury when he won that day. He's a chance again and well drawn, but 650 best in a field of 100 chances. I think he's probably about right. Prince of Aragon was good and last start at Gosford. Maxwell again, I think he's a chance. We could go on and on here. Savoury on a drier track and blinkers can improve. Saigon was good last time. Mubaris has a couple of good switches. Trevest, Mark mentioned. We talk about this for a long time and miss the winner, as Mark said. But I think Tooradin's a little bit of value, but it's not a race to invest too heavily in, I think.
Okay. Very good. That brings us to the end. I'll get your best plays, whether they be best bets, best value bets, best lays on the card. Mark Shean, your thoughts?
Well, I did my ginger at Rosehill last week, so hoping for an improvement on this Saturday. I'm going to back Greater Harlem in race number 2. It hasn't drawn all that well, unfortunately, so I'm hoping that the track is even and not a leader bias track. So if they make ground in the first, this is a really nice type who did run second to Overpass on debut, but just found it a little bit short there over 1100, goes to 13. And I know Overman will probably get the right run, but I think Greater Harlem will be hard to beat. And I like Green Flash as a horse in the 2,000 metre race. So they're my best plays, and I'm going to back Iron Power if he parades better to beat Blondo.
Okay, very good. We'll be having Rob Scorrie's thoughts to go along with that out of the yard. So he'll be back in Sydney this week after his triumphant display there in at Morfettville in Adelaide last week. Mark Rhoden, your best on the card.
Race 3, which we didn't cover. Pretty compressed market, but I thought it was a bit more straightforward than that. Mincer Missile for the great Jean Van Overmeer, who you spent 5 minutes potting earlier in the show. This is another leader, though, and I think, well, there's no trick to riding this horse. It just goes forward, and it'll either lead or hand up to Kobe Rocks if it's desperate to lead. And if it runs up to what it did at Newcastle last time, I think it'll be very hard to beat, and I've got him a lot shorter than $5. So he will... Despite the low strike rate of the jockey, he's definitely a bet for me.
Has actually ridden 8 of his last 50 starts to victory, but I think only one of those has been in a metro level. So
yeah, he can dominate in the bush, but I tell you what, he gets his chance to ride a couple of winners in town because the ranks are thinner this week. A lot of jockeys are on holiday or in the state, and this is certainly a chance for him to shine.
Exactly right. Okay. Thank you both for joining me. We'll catch up next week to preview whatever's coming up then. But in the meantime, Mark Rhoden, you're also betting at Newcastle tomorrow?
I am. Yep. We'll have race by race numbers, comments, bets for Newcastle as well as Rosehill.
All right. Beautiful. Until next week, guys, go well, and we'll catch up then.
Fair play, mate.